the theme, the cover of the palette. Blend Bunny does it again, and I swear they outdo themselves every time. So let's talk about the new Beauty Below palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. We have basically Lure, but 2.0. This is all about the sirens. I love this artwork. It is just in the hollow overlay on just some of the pieces. I think this is the best and my favorite cover that they've ever done. Like, I just want to display this. It's so beautiful. So let's take a peek at the inside color story. We have some murky colors, definitely moody, mysterious, and dark. I love how Maggie, the owner of Blend Bunny, kind of paired these into little quads, so you can use them in quads. I love that. I love that they've been switching up the layouts a little bit every time. And I was sent this palette in PR from Blend Bunny, so thank you so much for sending it over to me early so I could get this video up before the launch. This palette is launching Friday, February 21st at 10 a.m. PST, and it will be $45, and it is magnetic. The way I'm so excited about the fact that this is magnetic, when they release the rest of their palettes as magnetic, I will be snatching all of those up, and I will be insufferable because I will just be doing BYOPs left and right. And I do have an affiliate code with Blend Bunny, which I'll put up on the screen in case you're interested in this launch or anything else on the website. And thank you so much if you use my code. So I'm going to be showing you detailed swatches of all of the shimmer shadows. I'm also going to do a couple of comparisons with some of the shimmers and the shimmers in the previous palettes. Almost forgot to mention, this palette does feel a little bit heavier. I would say it's just a tad more heavy than the Makina palette. So let's get into all the swatches, these 2 looks that I created with the palette, and I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. First 3 shades: Intoxicating, Deadly Fate, and Carnivorous. Intoxicating looks like it has a bunch of blue sparkles throughout it. I feel like Deadly Fate is a little bit more of a satin. I'm gonna do these 3 at a time. And they do feel a little bit thicker to swatch out, but they don't feel really squishy. I'm going to add just a little bit more to Intoxicating. So Intoxicating is a blackened plum. You can really kind of see the base in it, and then straight on the plum. And I see silver and pink flecks throughout it. Deadly Fate I would describe as a blackened brown. It almost seems like it is black, but I feel like I see a little bit of a brown tone to it. And I mostly see silver flecks throughout it with a couple of pink ones. And Carnivorous is a burgundy with blue and pink flecks throughout it. You can see all the different sparkles here. It kind of looks like all of these shades have a base with a sparkle being on top. Next 3 shades are Lullen Slay, Her Prey, and Atargatis. I see the most sparkle in these 2 shades. Ooh, I love this one. Ultra Dimensional. Also, I feel like I'm getting better swatching on my other hand. Ooh, this one is very opaque. Lullen Slay is a charcoal gray, a little bit on the lighter side, and I see pink flecks throughout it. It's very sparkly and very dimensional. Prey is a peachy orange, a little bit of a duochrome, a little bit less sparkly, I think, than Lullen Slay. And then Atargatis is more of a satin. It does have some sparkles throughout it too, but I do think it's not as sparkly as Lullen Slay. And I feel like I see some purple flecks throughout that one. It's a very, very bright magenta. And then here's a close-up. Next 3 shades are Irresistible, Cursed, and Pulled Under. Love the shade Pulled Under. So far, all the shimmers do seem like they have almost full opacity for the most part. There's maybe a little bit of give in terms of how much you want to build them up. But look at that. Oh my god, that one is so beautiful. This is like a shimmery black. Love that. I'm going to add another layer to this one. Irresistible is a beautiful, vibrant aqua. I see almost kind of a little bit of a teal-ish base slightly, with a little bit more of a true aqua flashing straight on, at least from the way I'm viewing it. Cursed is a black with pink and gold and blue sparkles throughout it. They're super, super fine. I'm not sure how visible they will be once they're on the lid from kind of far away, but they are really beautiful, and it makes the shade definitely more dimensional. Pulled Under is so sparkly. It has bright blue and silver particles throughout it, and it has a really interesting kind of super deep washed out denim blue base to it, and it almost has a little bit of a black base as well. And then up close, especially this center shade, look at that rainbow. But it's not hollow, but it almost is hollow. And the last three shades are Mesmerizing, Trance, and Immerse. And these are so foiled. So excited for this purple one especially. But this one looks like, kind of like reminds me of, I think it's Weathered from Clionadh. They are super smooth. So this is a green brown base. And this one is so punchy, olive toned shimmer. And then love this one, of course. I always love me some purples. This one I think could be a little bit more sheared out. So let me add another layer to see what it looks like at full opacity. And I'm also going to add another layer to the center shade. So Mesmerizing has a warm brown base with a olive green flash straight on. Trance is a beautiful olive toned gold, like an antique gold essentially. Has a little bit of dimension. Immerse is a purple base with a light blue reflex straight on. Loving all of these. And then up close. Picked up Abyss, and I'm gonna do a solid eyeshadow wing with the Clionadh and my collab brush. So I'm just kind of drawing it out first, and then I'm gonna slowly bring it up and kind of end it right above my crease, and then bring it a little bit underneath my lower lash line. I do need to fix this. I had a different look on before this. So I'm just gonna fill this in. Love that. Very, very pigmented. And I think I'm gonna take a little bit of Take Heed and just kind of put it right up against my lash line. Just the tiniest bit, and then I'm just kind of blending it outwards with the same brush. Next, I'm taking Watery Grave, and I'm gonna start kind of blending that inwards and a little bit into the wing. And then I'm gonna wipe off this brush, and I'm gonna take Beware the Mermaid, and I'm just gonna bring that in just a little bit in here. Just a little bit. And then back into Watery Grave a little bit here. And I'm just taking some setting powder over the edges. I'm gonna be taking a little bit of Stick and Sparkle from Dieverune Cosmetics. And I'm gonna pick it up on a brush. This is the one from me and Clionadh's collab. And I'm just gonna kind of put this all over the lid, but I'm kind of patting it on into the outer corner just a tiny bit, not fully into the outer corner. Taking Pulled Under first, and I'm gonna pop that onto the kind of bridge between the bare part of my lid and the outer corner matte wing. And then taking Irresistible, I'm gonna pop that right into the center. And I'm using, again, the Clionadh and my collab. This is the slightly floofier brush, as I like to call it. So that's going on the center. Taking Immerse in the inner corner. And just kind of blending it into that shade. Look at that, so pretty. And here's the first finished look. Look. So onto the second look. I think I'm going to do an eyeshadow wing, but in the other style that I usually do on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to use Cursed to do that with. This is pretty much how I use darker shimmer shadows. And I did miss my brush just to help it hopefully not have as much of fallout. It's just going to be a really beautiful sparkly eyeshadow wing essentially. And then just bringing it underneath my lower lash line. connecting. Oh my gosh, I love all the different sparkles throughout it. It just makes this so dimensional. Just gonna wing this a little bit, just a tad. And I mean, look at that. I can definitely see the sparkles throughout it. Taking the shade Abduction, and I'm gonna pop that into my crease. Kind of starting it off on the inner crease, blowing it out, and a little bit onto the outer corner. And I'm just gonna deepen it up just a little bit on here, on this outer corner area. Like I want it to be the most noticeable here. I think I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more Abduction. Just kind of build it up. And that looks amazing. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So next for the shimmer, I would usually go in with a more topper-like shimmer. For my eye shape, I would really like to highlight it here with a lighter shimmer. I feel like otherwise, if I use darker shimmers on my lids, they just make my eyes look more closed off and more hooded. So I think the lightest shade, I'm a little stuck between Lull and Slay and Her Prey. I don't know why I swatched it on these two fingers, but I'm just like, do I want to go in with this or do I want to go in with this? I feel like because of the tone of this brown, I feel like this might be interesting. I think I'm going to do this because also I love purples. Any reason to wear purple ever. I think I'm just going to use my finger this time. I think that's a good decision, especially because it's going to go with the lip I have on right now. Oh yeah, I love that. Okay, I do like that a lot. That was a good decision. And oh my gosh, it has so many sparkles throughout it. It's such a beautiful shade. I don't want to do something on the lower lash line as well. Actually, let me do the peach on the lower lash line. I feel like that might be actually pretty good. So I'm going to pick up Her Prey and I'm going to mist it with just some water. And I'm just going to pop that underneath the lower lash line. It's got a little bit of fallout. And here's the finished second look. I'm very familiar with the Blend Bunny formula, from the mattes to the shimmers to the evolutions since the blends palette. I have been here and I've been loving my Blend Bunny palettes, especially the mattes. The mattes still top tier, one of my favorite formulas of all time. I just know the mattes will perform, they will blend beautifully together, and they will be very pigmented, and these are no exception. These are the Blend Bunny mattes that I love. I think Blend Bunny especially excels in their purples. Do you remember the time where you could not get a good dark matte purple or blue or green? Like, they were just, especially the purples though, they were always just patchy. They would kind of blend away. They didn't want to layer. Pleasure using a purple matte or blue or any other color of the rainbow from Blend Bunny. I had a really easy time with both the looks, but enough of me raving about the mattes. Let's talk about the shimmers. There's definitely a variety of some that are a little bit more satin with kind of sparkle on top, and then some that are a little bit more sparkly. None of these are very topper-like. I think the most topper-like shade kind of are Immerse and Lull and Slay. You can, if you pick up the tiniest bit and you were to just like tap it on, you could definitely get it to be a little bit more sheer, but most of the shimmers are fully opaque, as you could see from the swatches. They are also predominantly darker shimmers, which I think makes sense with the color story. Would have loved to have seen one maybe slightly more iridescent shade just for the inner corner highlight, and just I love those shades because they especially transform over the different colorful mattes, especially the darker mattes. For my preference personally, I will be using the super dark shades like Deadly Fate, Cursed, and Carnivorous, mostly as the eyeshadow wing or something that's kind of closer to my outer corner and to my lash line. None of the shimmers feel overly squishy or emollient or almost wet. There was one shade in the plastic palette that I called out that did feel a bit unusual to Blend Bunny. It was just extra putty-like. So I'm happy that that isn't in this palette as somebody with hooded oily lids. Now, if you were to really push down into some of these shades, they're gonna have a little bit of give, but you have to really put pressure on it. I think upon first touch and just swatch, they don't feel wet or creamy. I think this is a beautiful release from Blend Bunny, and I think it's going to pair really nicely, especially with the Allure palette, which is kind of their previous under the sea type of theme. You have some much brighter colors in here, and I also think it will be great with the Longing palette because I think the grungy tones in here are very complementary of some of the shades that are in the Beauty Below palette. And of course, I'm super excited about the magnetic pans, and with a coupon code, this palette is $40, which I think is an amazing price for this, but it is ultimately completely up to you with everything that I have said in this video and everything that I've shown you. If you feel like this is worth it for you and to add to your collection, if you don't really like darker mattes and darker darker shimmers, then this might not be the palette for you. If you love Blend Bunny and you love all their palettes and you really like the tones in here, maybe you have a different palette that has maybe some lighter shades and you want something to pair with it, then this would be great. I would always recommend watching as many videos as you can before you make a decision. Better yet, put it on a wish list and then just see in a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, or more if you still want to buy it. So I really hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this palette. Do you plan on picking it up? I would love to hear your thoughts, and if you enjoy this kind of content, you will love swatches of super shimmery, sparkly shadows, then I will have some other videos like this up on the screen so you can keep watching. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.